Do you want to know what the Betty effect is? As you guys know, we've been making a lot of content with this hero. Not only is she a great support hero, but she actually pumps out a ton of damage, which the second you hear that means you really want a giant killer to fire, hunter focus, all those nice little affixes on an A- or higher copy. And it seems like we just hit the mother load of them because, as you guys know, we just got our stones from the last Soul Awakening session as well, and it looks like the auction house has just exploded. There's a lot of copies, so grab them right now. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let's jump right into it. So as you guys know, what's up guys, Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes. We are on the new Betty series here. We're not actually going to be counting this as an episode because we're going to be just talking about Betty and the effect she has had on the early game, the mid game, the end game metas. She is just probably one of the strongest heroes we have ever seen in the game, up there with Doom Terminator Vulcan, Lord of Fear Aspen, and even support heroes like Starwing Jara at the time. She does everything you want. I'm gonna jump over to here because, as you guys know, her abilities are amazing. Like, if she had just her active skill, it would still be good, but the fact that her superfluous ablation, we're gonna go with that terminology there, is absolutely amazing. The second she gets to 100 energy, or if she starts with 100 energy and gets hit to gain more energy, she immediately triggers Scarlet Therapy, which is her active ability. So these two things alone are pretty solid, but when it gets really crazy is when you have her noble core, and even more crazy when you have a full kitted out team, because whenever Scarlet Therapy goes off, there's also a 75% chance to bloodbind twine enemies who are not already bound, and it deals extra damage to them. There's so many things it does. Reduces energy. Probably one of the strongest cores we have ever seen in the game because of how it interacts with her skills. And as you see, we're literally making a whole account around this hero. Like, literally, the entire account is going to be built about her, seeing how far you can progress with her in the early game. There's a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, just you guys have seen all the videos I've put out personally. Other people have had very good success too, but it's actually caused something else to happen since yesterday. Now, what has happened is recently I've been looking, because of course we started this new Betty series, I've been looking on the auction house trying to find some giant killer Bettys. And to be honest, you know what? I can actually pull up a picture. I can pull up a picture from like a day ago, and this is pretty much what it looked like the past few days. Let me switch over to the news real quick here. As you guys have seen, this is essentially what it has looked like. Pretty barren. They're all A tiers, but they're only in like the 6,000-ish attack. They're very expensive, like way overpriced. And since then, I'm going to show you guys what we have now today in game. So if we filter this and we go to Betty copies, we have so many Bettys on here. And there's two things that I think have actually happened here. Like, you can literally see there's probably more Bettys than any other hero. Honestly, let's actually test that theory out. Let's go to even like Lord of Fear Aspens. I mean, granted, there's a lot of Lord of Fear Aspens on the auction house right now, too. I think part of this effect might be in the case of the Soul Awakening session, the last one finally cashing out and giving us the Soul Awakening stones. So there's potentially a lot of A-, A, and A+ copies hitting the auction house. You can see some of them very inexpensive to start, but still kind of pricey. You can see there's a buyout here for 26.5, 27. So you can still afford them pretty inexpensively. And I think even I spent probably around that on my copy on our main account. Granted, I don't go for the craziest copies around. You can see as we go through, there's a lot of them just listed at the same price. Like all around the same time too. You notice how when all the bidding ends on all these, it almost makes me think there's like a dupe method going around or something, to be honest. Kind of crazy, even ones with like low attack, but it seems like I wonder, you know? That's a lot of copies up at the same value. Has there been like a dupe method or something? I wonder. Like, you can see there's the pick of your litter, and there's no reason for these to go for like crazy high values, in my opinion, honestly. Some of them maybe, because they have like better rolls up in the 7,000, 8,000. Those are warranted. And then there's one crazy person. I wonder if it's whoever won the SS Stone. It has Defire, it has Hunter Focus, doesn't have Giant Killer, so it does need a reroll, starting the bid out at dirt cheap. But this does seem to be something that is going on. Let's also take a look at other heroes that are still in pretty high demand. There are an okay amount of them, and this tends to happen. And again, you can still get copies of heroes for pretty good prices overall. They're not that bad if you're trying to look for, I mean, look at this. I think Mockman has fallen off, guys. Look how inexpensive. Granted, that's probably one of the worst attack rolls I've ever seen on an A- copy, but you can afford them very, very inexpensively. Even like S tier heroes, they're very, very inexpensive because, well, the meta is shifting, and the meta is actually, I wonder what Gaggy's up for. Not many Gaggies up on the list here. Vessa's probably really cheap nowadays. Yeah, 13,000, 10,000 if you want Giant Killer. If you want a budget account, you could probably go with something like a Vessa. But this is mainly due to the effect that this hero has had on the game and shifting up the meta. And as you guys can see, there's a lot of them on the market, which means these are all overpriced. Essentially, that's what it means. If there's a ton of them on the market and they're not selling, they're overpriced. I would wait for the prices to even drop even more. However, there are some pretty cheaply on here. Now, there is one thing we really do need to talk about. If we're talking about Betty, because I'm sure a lot of people have mentioned it and everything, there is a new record for Betty. However, this isn't really a new record, so to speak. So it's not this copy. It's the newest copy that was almost the perfect roll that Dak sold to Soul. Since then, you can see the modifiers here were changed to probably one of the most offensive heroes you could see, except maybe like more skill damage or crit chance or something right here. But Defire, Giant Killer, Hunter Focus, that is a killer copy. Essentially what's happening is it's being transferred from one of Soul's accounts to another, and it does have the highest price tag on here. However, that is not real because it's kind of just transferring your starry gems between. But if we wanted to figure out the value of the trade, the value. Now remember, there is the black market auction house and all that fun stuff. We're gonna divide that, and then we're gonna multiply it out by $100 per pack. It's like 18,000. Yeah, 18,000 for that copy. But again, it's really just transferring that much in currency. I mean, even if we talk about black market prices, it probably means it's still around 10-ish, which is a crazy amount. You could literally buy a car for that copy. So let me know what you guys think about this Betty meta shift. I mean, she answers so many problems that we've been having on certain waves when it comes to Void Campaign, all new game mode, stuff like that. The fact that she can CC enemies without even having to take her turn, I think is the big part that sets her way apart from other heroes, and compared to like Starwing Jar, where you have to get your active skill off, and if you die before that happens, well, oh well. But if you just get hit by the first enemy in combat, you can CC the entire enemy team and none of them get to do anything, and it's as if you have the speed advantage, which you guys know is very important. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.